Swing, line drive, base hit, right center field. Wow, did he hit that hard. It's going through, and it rolls all the way out to the wall. One run is in. Racing around third, Estrada. He'll score. Stopping at second with a stand-up double, Mitch Haniger. Swing and a foul tip. It's held by Bart. And after the two runners got aboard at second and third, he struck out 3 in a row, all on swinging third strikes. Great performance by Logan Webb.
He swings. It's a high drive. Left center field. It is gone! Home run, Casey Schmidt. In his first game and his second at bat. That one is hit to right center field. Gliding over is Wisely. Now circling in. He'll make the catch. Out number 3. And Logan Webb has one of his best innings of the night. 7 strong for Logan. J.D. Davis. He lines one into left center field. That's a base hit. And that'll bring home Estrada. It's 4-1 Giants.
Ground ball to second. To his right, Estrada gets in front of it. Slings it over to first. In time for the out. And the Giants have won it.
And that should do it.
The Giants get the win. And Schmidt's getting real for the Golden State Warriors tonight. What's up, everybody? It's the Waterboy Marcus Boucher back on a Wednesday morning, back with Overnight Dave behind the glass, taking you up to 6 a.m. this morning for the start of the Murph and Mac show, and taking you all the way up to Game 5 tonight for the Warriors winner-go-home matchup against the L.A. Lakers.
Clank!
With their back against the wall. After, yes, Dave, clinking a few shots down the stretch in Game 4, blowing a lead, blowing the game essentially, and now putting themselves in this 3-1 deficit, a place that they've been before, going all the way back to 2016 when they were on both the winning end and a losing end of a 3-1 comeback. But hey, maybe this is setting up the script for the ultimate revenge against LeBron James, who had his own 3-1 comeback against the Warriors in the 2016 finals. It starts tonight at Chase Center with the Warriors as a 7-point favorite. Even with their back against the wall, it's the biggest spread we've had so far in this series. So, of course, we're going to spend plenty of time this morning getting you ready for tonight's matchup. We got a fresh Draymond Green podcast with some sound.
We're going to get this podcast.
After he did not speak post-game after Game 4, Draymond had plenty to say on his podcast last night.
Draymond don't talk as much since he's having that triple single. What he averaging, a triple single?
Yeah, didn't talk too much after Game 4, but there he was on his podcast breaking down Game 5 and some of the adjustments the Warriors need to make.
A triple single.
Steve Kerr stopped by the Tolbert and Cope show yesterday. Broke down what's going on with Jordan Poole, where the hell he's been, if he's going to be back in the lineup today, and if he expects a big game from the Poole party, man.
No, I don't see any scenario of that.
Yeah, neither do I, David, for being honest. Not after the way that he's been playing so far this entire postseason, going back to Game 1, where he's taking the final 2 shots of the game. And I remember getting into the, not argument with Murph and Mac, but the discussion about whether or not we can live with those kind of shots with Jordan Poole. And I said right there, leaving the arena, leaving Chase Center, no, I was not all right with those shots. And now looking back at it, that's a game they could have won. Warriors could have won Game 4. We could easily be in a situation where the Dubs are up 3-1 in this series instead of the Lakers. But hey, it is what it is. You are what you are. You are what you are on the back of your baseball card. And the Warriors are now down 3-1. And like I said, we'll spend plenty of time today breaking down that matchup. But I also want to spend plenty of time talking about some of the highlights you heard in this show open from the swinging San Francisco Giants, who got the win yesterday over Patrick Corbin and the Washington Nationals 4-1. What a surprise. They put on the City Connect jerseys and they won again. And there was our guy, Logan Webb, back on the bump yesterday. Goes out there, throws 7 innings, has 7 strikeouts. Did let up like 8 or 9 hits. A lot of soft contact yesterday, but did a great job of pitching out a couple of traffic jams. Had bases loaded, runners on second and third, got out of it multiple times, struck out the side in the second. Pitch count was getting up there, and I was actually a little surprised when I went out to the ballpark yesterday, and Logan Webb had 98 pitches through 6 innings, and Gabe Kapler actually let him go out there for the 7th. And here's the thing. In today's day and age of analytics and, a pitcher can't face the same lineup 3 times, There was Logan Webb going out there with 98 pitches, having his best outing of the day. He ended the night on 105 pitches. That means he had a 7-pitch inning in the 7th inning, closed it down. Camilo Duvall gets the save, I believe his 8th of the year. Giants lock it up. But I think the main storyline that we haven't even talked on in the first 5 minutes is Casey Blankenshmit. And that's why yesterday, when I saw the news, when I got the heads-up tip from Alex Pavlovich that he's hearing rumors that Casey Schmidt might be making his major league debut, I said, you know what, Waterboy, we got to get your ass back up to the city tonight. Logan Webb's on the bump, and we're getting a top prospect making his debut. I had to be in the ballpark. So I drove up yesterday. Actually, right when I found out the news, I made the move and added Casey Schmidt to my fantasy team, which I was a little surprised because I got heckled from a few guys who work here at KNBR. And I'm like, yo, we're the Giants flagship radio station. Of course I'm going to pick up Casey Schmidt. He's ranked as our number 4 prospect. He's a guy that I watched all year in spring training this year tear the ball off the cover. A guy who arguably was the best hitter in spring training. A guy that I watched multiple times down in San Jose with the AKA 408 Junior Giants. It's also a guy that struggled a little bit in low A, and that's why I was so excited to see him make his progress through double A out in Richmond or up in Eugene, all the way up to Sacramento for just a short stint before being called up to the major league level. Because this is a guy that's won the minor league Gold Glove Award. We know how good he is defensively. But when I saw him in San Jose, he was a 240, 250 hitter, which is nothing to brag about. But one thing that stood out to me this spring was not just his success at the plate, was when he came on air with Murph and Mac live from Scottsdale and talked to us about his time in low A, about when he got beamed in the face, when he got hit by a pitch, and it kind of changed everything for him. Well, it's been a few years since that incident happened. And ever since then, he tore it up at high A ball in Eugene. He tore it up in Richmond. And he's been tearing it up in Sacramento. And yesterday, the Giants made the call and said, add him to the roster. Waterboy added you to the fantasy team. Now you're on the major league roster. And it didn't take a long time for him to make a great first impression. Now, he did come out and ground into a ground out to shortstop in his first at-bat. No big deal, because there he was in his second AB of the game. Number 6, Casey Schmidt, walking up to the plate in front of half the stadium who it felt like was there to see him. I heard John Miller say on the broadcast yesterday that he had 50-plus friends and family showing up to the ballpark last night to come watch him. I was actually a couple of sections over from the family and friends section. Pretty cool environment to be next to, watching a guy making his MLB debut. And on the first pitch of his second at-bat, crack of the bat, hits one 399, or should I say over the 399 sign. They actually said it went 420 on the Jumbotron on the big screen, which is always a great number to point out. But that's what we wanted to see. That's how you make a great first impression. This is the prospect we've all been waiting for, and I don't want to hype him up and put too much on the shoulders of this kid. But when we're looking around at this Giants roster, you're looking for homegrown guys. You're looking at prospects. You look at how the Giants have been swinging and striking out on free agents the last couple years, whether it is Bryce Harper or Aaron/Arson Judge or Carlos Correa, the list goes on and on and on. It's going to have to start with these young guys. It's going to have to start with your homegrown players. It's going to have to go back to the Lincecum, Bumgarner, Kane days, Pablo Sandoval, Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, all the guys that came through your farm system. That's why we've been chomping at the bit to see guys like Casey Schmidt. That's why we're all getting hyped up about Kyle Harrison, who was just named the PCL Player of the Week, having his best success in AAA so far. This is why we're still waiting on Marco Luciano, who signed with the Giants when he was 16 years old. Kind of funny that Casey Schmidt has now leapfrogged him, and now he's playing shortstop. And I guess the question is how long is Casey Schmidt going to be playing shortstop, and how long is he going to be at the major league level? I hope it's permanent. I hope he's here to stay. A big reason why he's in the lineup right now is because Brandon Crawford is dealing with that calf issue. Giants want to keep Tyro Estrada at second base, but here's the thing with Casey Schmidt. He came up as a third baseman. Actually, going back to his college days at San Diego State, this was a dude that was also a closer his freshman year. Throwing 90 miles per hour, had like a sub-1 ERA. a guy that's got a cannon for an arm, and that's why he's so good defensively at third base. But after winning a Gold Glove, Giants said, hey, he might have a little bit more value if we can move him around. So as soon as Marco Luciano hurt his back last season, Casey Schmidt started playing a little bit more shortstop. And something that's been interesting so far this year, they've actually been mixing him in at second base also. So this is a guy that can play all over the infield, and it might be a guy that's breathing down the neck of someone like David Villar, who, trust me, we've all been a fan of the last 2 seasons since he was hitting bombs down in the PCL, getting selected to the Futures game. But he's also hitting a .151 right now. That's 49 points below the Mendoza line. I don't care about your advanced analytics. I could just look at your batting average and say you're not having that great of a year. And David Villar is a guy that will play third, play second, was DHing in the lineup yesterday. And I will give him credit. He did bump up his batting average a couple points, squared up a couple balls. But if you're not producing, someone else will. And so maybe it will be Casey Schmidt. Like I said, I hope it's for the long term. Even when Brandon Crawford comes first, this is a guy that you can platoon with Crawford, the lefty-righty matchup, split them up, and then you can move them all around the infield. I thought yesterday was a great first impression from Casey Schmidt, rounding the bags, blowing kisses to all of his family and friends in the crowd, and then him having another nice little single up the middle, ended up 2 for 4 on the day. He's hitting 500 in his young career. But again, I thought it was cool that he was out in the lineup the moment he got called up. He should be in the lineup today. I would assume so. Who knows with the platoon system? Really, is that what you imagine, Waterboy? Well, yeah, a guy hit a home run in his major league debut. I would like to have him back in the lineup. And like I said, I would like to keep him around on the major league level, whether he's playing short, third, or second. These are the kind of guys that you go out to the ballpark to go watch. I literally drove up last night to go watch Casey Schmidt. And, of course, our guy Logan Webb. And I'll be back at the ballpark today, 12:45, rubber match, day game. Sean Manaea on the mound versus Josiah Gray. Maybe we'll see another Casey Schmidt sighting. I hope so. And maybe you'll have the chance to do a little Terry Francois two-step, a double dip. It's going to be a long day if you do, but you can't hit at the Giants game in the city, get a few pops after the game, and then walk down Terry Francois Boulevard down to Chase Center, where you can watch Game 5 tonight, Warriors, Lakers. I think I got that on my agenda, Dave. I know it's not a Thursday, but I might have to start drinking at noon early. Get a double dose of the Giants and the Warriors, and hopefully some of these Casey Schmidt particles carry over to the Dubs, and they get the win tonight to force Game 6. So why not look ahead to Game 6 on the other side? Let you get some of that sound from that Draymond Green podcast.
You're going to get this podcast.
And let you hear from Steve Kerr on the key adjustments the Warriors need to make tonight to beat the Lakers and to extend the series. Let's talk Dubs and Lakers on the other side. And then we'll get back to the Casey Schmidt discussion later on. Let you hear some sound from his debut. It's the Waterboy on a Wednesday morning on KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
James still holding it, gets it in, and it's a loose ball as Reeves corrals it, but that's the end of the game. The Lakers were able to dribble it out as the Warriors didn't even try to foul, and the Lakers take a 3-1 lead over the Golden State Warriors. Lonnie Walker did not do much through 3 quarters. Didn't even take a shot, but in the 4th quarter, he won the game, and he is getting congratulated and hugged by all of his teammates. LeBron James leading the way. What a performance by Walker in the final frame.
Yeah, I think I've had enough Lonnie Walker talk this week. I mean, this is a guy that was not even talked about at all on the national level. Hell, I don't even know on local shows down in L.A. I'm sure Keyshawn, Max, and Jay Will aren't talking too much about this dude until he drops 15 points in the 4th quarter, nearly outscoring the entire Warriors roster as the Lakers go on an 8-2 run to close out Game 4. Now they're up 3-1, and now the Warriors are on the brink of elimination tonight. And there's actually a doubleheader with 2 teams on the brink of elimination, with the New York Knicks facing off against the play-in team Miami Heat, the team that lost the play-in game to the Atlanta Hawks, who then came back and beat Giannis and the Bucks. And now they're up 3-1 over the Knicks tonight. That's the first game of your doubleheader. A little bit of NBA action last night to clean up. Denver took a 3-2 lead over Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. Nikola Jokic dropped another triple-double. Also snuck into the little team huddle of the Suns and got pushed by Kevin Durant. I love that Jokic did a little flop, kind of like the Suns owner did the other day. Shout out to the NBA for not suspending Nikola. I thought it would have been an absolute travesty if they would have suspended him. A little bit of footage of the Suns owner, Matt Ishba, and Nikola chopping it up before the game yesterday. Nikola actually said post-game he was hoping that he would come out and pay that $25,000 fine for him. But I think Nikola can afford to pay those fines, especially when he's putting on MVP-type performances like he is right now, despite not winning the MVP this year. Meanwhile, the guy who did win the MVP, Joel Embiid, led the 76ers to go up on a 3-2 lead over the Boston Celtics now. That series is getting interesting, but I don't think anything is more interesting, especially here in the Bay Area, than the Warriors dropping to a 3-1 deficit against LeBron James and Lonnie Blanken Walker. That's the frustrating part, especially coming off the highs and lows of this first-round series against the Kings, where every game felt like it was must-watch TV. We said it after Game 3. This series really hasn't been that entertaining. Now, Game 1, you can go back to the Jordan Poole missed shots on back-to-back possessions to close out Game 1, which lead to an early an early Lakers 1-0 lead. Then Game 2 and 3 were just not even entertaining, 27, 30-point blowouts. Game 4 was the best game, but it was also a game where we saw Lonnie Blanken Walker take over down the stretch. And Steph Curry missed a couple of shots.
Clank!
Klay Thompson missed a couple of shots.
What is this, a Masons convention?
And Draymond Green turns the ball over.
You still throwing up bricks?
The Big Three, the Warriors Invitational, the championship DNA was not at Crypto.com Arena for Game 4 on Monday. So they'll have to turn it around for Game 5 tonight at Chase Center. Warriors are a 7-point favorite, despite being a plus 385 favorite to come back and win this series. But hey, the Warriors have done this before. They've come back down 3-1, but they've also lost 3-1 series. And that's the bottom line here, because there has been 277 teams in the NBA who have gone down 3-1 before. Only 13 of those teams have come back to win. That's a 5% chance. Again, the Warriors are one of those teams that have completed the comeback, but they've also blown a 3-1 lead. But hey, maybe they will get revenge against LeBron James. It's going to have to start tonight, and it's going to have to start with some in-game adjustments. The Warriors have used 3 different starting lineups so far this series, whether it's with Kevon Looney as your starting center. I know he's been dealing with some illness lately. Shout out to him and GP2, who was out here puking on the court. Turns out GP2 was in the starting lineup, but that's after they decided to put JaMychal Green in the starting lineup for Game 3, I believe it was. So there's a bunch of moving chess pieces, the in-game adjustments from game to game. So why not check in with Steve Kerr, who made an appearance yesterday on the afternoon show with Tom Tolbert and Adam Copeland, and talked about some of those adjustments. But first of all, what the hell happened down the stretch for the Warriors, and how did you let this game get away from you to put the Lakers in a 3-1 advantage?
We played well. We played, how we wanted to play. We held them to 104. Didn't foul too much. Took pretty good care of the ball. So, that's the formula. But you're right. I mean, we didn't close the game, and that's what it comes down to. They made a couple shots. Lonnie Walker happened. That's often how the playoffs go. Both teams are going to be so well prepared for what the other one is bringing, and it often just comes down to somebody stepping up. Landry Shamet the other night, for Phoenix, making 5 threes, and sometimes it's that simple. I thought it was a great game. I mean, really well played game, and both teams defended and played really smart basketball, and it was just we just couldn't quite pull it out.
Well, I'll say it was a great game for Steph Curry, who dropped a 31-point triple-double. Outside of that, I really don't think it was that great a performance from anybody on this Warriors roster. Maybe we'll show some love to GP2, coming in, getting 15 points, playing some great defense on D'Angelo Russell, but he almost played such good defense that led to Lonnie Walker playing in the fourth quarter, and then GP2 kind of disappeared in the fourth as he only got 2 minutes of playing time. So it's funny because I've heard Tom Tolbert discuss this multiple times about how he believes the closing lineup is more important than the starting lineup. My question is then, where was Gary Payton II in the closing lineup when Lonnie Walker is putting up 15 points in the fourth quarter? Who knows if he was having more stomach issues? Who knows if he was back in the locker room throwing up again? Or who knows if he was sitting courtside? Probably something I should know, but something I don't know going into Game 5 tonight. Whether or not he will be in the starting lineup, whether or not they will go back to some size from Kevon Looney. I think that's something they've been missing out these last couple of games, is the fact that they're getting beat on the boards and they're not getting those second chance opportunities. That Kevon Looney is so good grabbing those boards and dishing it back out for second and third shot attempts. The Warriors usually win games where they take more shots. They haven't been doing it lately because they have not been getting the offensive rebounds. But again, this is all Monday morning, Wednesday morning quarterback talk. We saw the Warriors make great adjustments in the first half of the game against Anthony Davis on that pick and roll, bring him out of the paint. Warriors had 32 points in the paint in that first half, and then that strategy kind of disappeared. So who knows if they go back to it tonight? Who knows what chess moves that the Lakers are going to make? But I do know that Draymond Green is eventually going to check in on all these topics. And it was interesting that he was not at the press conference, but yesterday he put out a podcast, of course. So here was Draymond talking about that late game stretch for the Warriors. His guys, Klay Thompson and Steph, both missing shots. Him turning the ball over, but how he'll ride with those guys forever, since they won 4 titles together.
I thought we did an incredible job of wearing both AD and LeBron down. They played a ton of minutes, very high usage. I thought we did a great job of wearing them down. In turn, they went to Lonnie Walker in the fourth quarter. Most cases, that's a win. It's still a win, by the way. Like, if you can stop LeBron from getting what shots he wants, stop AD from getting what shots he wants, Lonnie Walker beat you, you kind of got to live with it. Lonnie Walker had a huge fourth quarter, 15 points in the fourth quarter, which was all the points that he scored in the game. And you got to tip your hat to him. That's a brother who stayed ready, regardless of what's happened on their roster. But, I think, you tip your hat to Lonnie Walker. Like I said, that's a guy who's been in and out of the lineup, played a lot early on, didn't play much, then played a little more, then didn't play at all. And he stayed ready. You tip your hat to true professionals who stay ready when their number is called. And he did that on the biggest stage.
Yeah, as Lonnie Walker would tell you, the candle stays lit. And that was Draymond obviously breaking down the execution from the Lakers down the stretch. But it was interesting watching it be Lonnie Walker and it not be LeBron James. Even though the Lakers did change up their game plan, when he was playing off ball for the first 3 quarters, LeBron did take over as the point forward in the fourth, which led to a couple open shots for Lonnie Walker. But if you would have told me that Anthony Davis was going to come out, put up 19 points in the first half, and only score 4 in the second, I would have told you the Warriors had a good chance to win. But I also say that Anthony Davis, for as much as people talk about him disappearing from game to game, he usually shows up at least defensively, game to game, and he showed up in that final stretch, back-to-back possessions against Steph Curry, making it difficult when usually you get Steph versus a man that size, usually puts him on skates. AD made it problematic for Steph. Hell, made it problematic for the entire Warriors team as they got outscored by the Lakers 8-2. Here was Draymond on that cut I was talking about on Steph and Klay missing big shots down that fourth quarter stretch.
Our offensive execution wasn't there down the stretch, and that is on all of us. That's not on just Klay. That's not on just Steph. That's on all of us. And, I know everyone's talking about the Steph shot or a couple shots and the Klay couple shots. And quite frankly, I'm rolling with them guys. I'm rolling with them, taking any shot that they feel is necessary. Could we have gotten a better one? Of course. But I'm rolling with the same guys I rolled in with, as I told you before. And if they make those shots, it's, oh my God, no one can shoot like them. They're the greatest shooters ever, which they are. And if you miss them, people talk. And that's just the business that we're in. And so, you can question the shots all you want. That's fine. I get it. I understand it. But just know and understand that no one here is wavering at all. We riding with them no matter what.
And he should. Those are his guys. Those are the Splash Brothers. They've won 4 titles together. And that's why, again, I wasn't really questioning the shots from Steph Curry. Now, Klay probably could have used a little bit of, steering to the right direction. You can even see in some of those shots in the background, Steve Kerr throwing his hands on top of his heads like, Klay, what the hell are we doing? But this is also a series where Klay wants to be the hero. We've heard him talk so much about being down in L.A., going to the arena that he grew up watching his dad play and grew up watching Kobe. He was looking for these big-time moments, and he had a big-time shot in those last 3 minutes, hitting that corner 3 to put him up 3, and then the 2 poorly timed shots, not the greatest shots you want to see from Klay, but hey, that's the Warriors. They're going to live and die by the long ball. And they died by it by getting outscored by the Lakers 8-2. But again, that's why they play 7. It's a 7-game series. 1 game at a time. That's going to be the motto right now, and that's kind of the message that Draymond Green had on his podcast yesterday. Here was Draymond breaking down the 7-game series, how the Warriors want to win tonight and put the pressure back on the Lakers, and how they can achieve that goal.
There's other things that we could have done in the game better. And, you got to go watch the film and figure those things out and apply them tomorrow. Because guess what? It's the first of 4, not the first of 3. Whether it's 3-1, whether it's 3-0, no matter. It's the reason it's a 7-game series. It's the first of 4. And we understand that. I think every game that you win from this point on, like every game, period, every game won in a series flips the pressure to the other team. The moment you win a game, the pressure flips to the other team. I don't care if it's game 1. I don't care if it's game 6. Only time the pressure doesn't flip to the other team is when you win game 7. Once game 7 is won, pressure doesn't flip to the other team. That team goes home, you move on. And that's just that. So for us, the goal is to win 1 game. We've been here before. And we know what it takes. And like I said, the goal is to win 1 game. You go win 1 game, all the pressure flips. You go back to crypto, 3-2, essentially puts them in a must-win situation. No one wants to go on the road for a game 7. Must-win situations are a little different than any other game. And so I think for us, the goal is always going to be, and the goal right now is just to go win the next game.
Yeah, because if you don't win, your season's over. And that's something we seriously got to think about. We could be here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. talking about not the end of the Warriors Invitational, but the end of their 2023 season, to say at least. And that would open the door to plenty of conversations on what's going on this offseason with Draymond and Klay and Jordan Poole and all those topics. But I think Draymond has a point. All the Warriors got to do is take care of business tonight at Chase Center a place where we've seen they have dominated opponents. That puts them in a spot to go down 3-2 into Game 6. Then the Warriors have to win one game on the road. It's always said against the Kings, you just got to win one on the road. They've done it in 28 consecutive playoff series. If they win one on the road, then it sets up a Game 7 on Sunday at Chase Center, which, again, I would probably put my chips in the favor of the Warriors. Now, there's a lot that's going to happen before I get there, and that's the reason why the Warriors are currently at plus 385 to win this series. But as Draymond Green said, as I said, as probably every radio host and talking host you've heard on from around the country will tell you, the Warriors have been in this position before. Here was Steve Kerr on what the message is to the team. Down 3-1, even though they have been in this situation before.
It's the reminder that one game changes everything. I mean, it really does. And all you have to do is focus on the game and, do your job, go out there, let it rip. If you're, if you play well enough and you get a win, the whole vibe of the series changes, and that happens throughout the 7 games. It's just from one game to the next. The games aren't connected at all, but there's an emotion and a pressure that goes with each one that feels slightly different. So tomorrow is all about just playing our game, doing what we did last night, cleaning up a few things, being really solid, and go get it done, and everything changes.
And that's it. If the Warriors can control the controllables, if they cannot get in foul trouble, if they don't turn the ball over, I think they win this game tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do go win Game 6 to force a Game 7, and then we'll see what happens from there. But it's going to be on the backs of guys who have done it before. Get rid of the minute restrictions. Get rid of the rotations. Play Curry 40-plus minutes. Play Clay 40-plus minutes. Whatever it's going to take. Whether or not it's going to be another 50-burger performance from Steph Curry. Hell, maybe we'll get a triple single from Draymond Green thrown in there as well. It's do or die. Your back's against the wall, and that's usually when a team is the most dangerous. Here is Draymond Green talking about how the Warriors will go down swinging tonight, even though he doesn't think that they're going to go down.
I feel great, and we got nothing to lose. Down 3-1, you come out swinging. Go down swinging if you do go down, but we're not going down. But you leave that court with no regrets. And like I said, you win one game, series flips, pressure flips, everything flips. So that's our goal. Clay will play better. I have no doubt in my mind I'll play better. Steph had an incredible game. Expect more of the same or even more from him. And everybody else will play great. Moses Moody's been giving us great minutes. Dante gave us some good minutes last night. GP gave great minutes. Loon, when Loon's in there, he's giving great minutes. Wiggs was aggressive. Listen, I'm living with it. And we just didn't make the plays we needed to make down the stretch to win the game. We'll make those plays. I have no doubt in my mind.
Oh, I've got a little doubt in my mind after seeing what's been going on in this series, especially with one guy who Draymond Green did not mention right there. As we're talking strength in numbers, as we're talking GP2, we're talking Moses Moody, we're talking about guys who are getting minutes over Jordan Poole. That's right, JP3, Mr. Pool Party himself.
It's a pool party!
After watching the Pool get completely drained in Game 4, dude played 10 minutes, puts up a goose egg in the box score, 0 points, 0 3-pointers. Him and Klay Thompson, the two guys who call themselves 311, like the band, when it combined 311 from 3-point range. And I walked in this morning, the first thing I see on the text line is a milk carton that says missing with Jordan Poole's face on it. It's as simple as that. He's been missing this series. Hell, he's been missing most of the entire postseason. Who knows what his minutes are going to look like tonight, but Steve Kerr was actually asked about it with Tolbert and Copes yesterday, and he said, hey, things change. Life comes at you fast. Maybe tonight will be the pool party that we've all been waiting for.
He missed his shots, but the biggest thing last night was both Gary, Peyton, and Moses played really well. Because those guys were gone, we just decided to stay with them, and that's how the playoffs go. And playoffs are cruel. This is not the regular season where, you just let guys play through stuff. There's always this sense of urgency where you have to get immediate results, and if not, then you go to another option. So tomorrow could be entirely different for Jordan. He could have a huge game, and it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. To be honest with you, it would surprise me. We usually like to hit the Nate Diaz, I'm not surprised drop.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
I would be surprised if Jordan Poole has a big game tonight. He's averaging 3.7 points in the last 3 games. He has been abysmal, so I don't even know if he's going to be in the rotation. I'm not counting on JP3, but I will count on number 30, Steph Curry, to have a big performance. Klay Thompson at home tonight. I know we all love a Game 6 Klay performance. I need Klay to shoot the lights out. I need a big night from Andrew Wiggins. I need Looney on the boards. I need Draymond Green putting some lockdown D on Anthony Davis. And yes, strength in numbers. Hopefully we can get a couple shots from Jordan Poole, mix in a little Moses Moody, GP2, a little defense, because defense wins championships, and the Warriors have won plenty of championships. And to stay alive in their back-to-back quest, they've got to win tonight as a 7-point favorite. We'll be here today, tomorrow, and the next day covering the Warriors dynasty, and we'll see the results, and we'll talk all about it tomorrow morning. But on the other side, let's get back into some good news for the Giants. They won last night. They got a rubber match today, 12:45 against the Nationals. And Casey Schmidt made his MLB debut with a bit of a bang. We'll let you hit from the Schmidt man himself on the other side. It's the Waterboy Marcus Boucher on KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the Sports Leader.
With the 49th pick of the 2020 MLB Draft, the San Francisco Giants select third baseman Casey Schmidt from San Diego State University.
Right-handed hitter. He swings. It's a high drive. Left center field. It is gone! Home run, Casey Schmidt! In his first game and his second at bat. His first big league hit is a homer.
Now here comes Casey Schmidt. His first major league hit was a long home run into deep left center in the fourth inning. The 19th Giant in the long history of the Giants, including their New York years, whose first major league hit was in his first game and was a home run. Line drive up the middle. Base hit center field. He ripped that one.
Yes, indeed. It's KNBR's own homegrown talent, Marcus Boucher, back on the leadoff spot on a Wednesday morning, talking about the latest homegrown talent from the San Francisco Giants, Casey Schmidt, number 6, the man that made his MLB debut with a bang yesterday. Second AB, launches one dead center over the 399 sign. A ball that was told, or at least I was told, went 420. Casey Schmidt making his debut in front of friends and family, 50-plus people in Oracle Park last night, me being one of them, because yesterday we got the news from Alex Pavlovich. Shout out to Pavs for the hat tip and the heads up, and I immediately said, okay, things are falling together here. Logan Webb's on the bump tonight, and Casey Schmidt's making his debut. I got to be at the ballpark. And for Logan Webb to be on the bump for the first time, since the Giants had a case of the Schmitz down in Mexico. Everything lined up perfectly. From Logan Webb going 7 innings, striking out 7 dudes, pitching out of multiple traffic jams out on the base path, to Casey Schmidt being the starter of a double play for Logan Webb to get out of a bases-loaded jam, all the way to Casey Schmidt's 2 base hits, to this guy showing up and getting a standing ovation in front of everybody at Oracle Park yesterday. And I think this was a really cool moment for a guy that has gone through the struggles in low A down in San Jose to tearing it up in high A, all the way up in Eugene, out to Richmond, up to Sacramento, where they made the call and said, hey, Casey, we know you're a minor league Gold Glover at third base. How about you play a little short? How about you play a little second? And now this is a guy that hopefully will be around for a while here in San Francisco. Yesterday was a hell of an introduction, and I would expect him to be back in the lineup today, 12:45 first pitch. But then again, you never know with the platoon systems. But it did sound like this guy, Casey Schmidt, was getting some praise yesterday after the game from Gabe Kapler and all of his teammates. Shout out Mitch Haniger, had an RBI double to get the game going after Thairo Estrada originally thought he went deep with a home run to lead off the game. I was sitting down the left field line. I thought I heard a dong off the fair pole or the foul pole, whatever the hell you want to call it. I guess maybe the umpires were confused like I was as a little leaguer on why they call it a foul pole instead of a fair pole. Ball hits off the pole, but they call it foul. Regardless, I digress. Thairo gets on base. Haniger hits him in, gives the Giants the lead, and then Casey Schmidt extends it with that big first pitch home run to put him up 3-0. Here was Casey Schmidt last night. Get used to this voice, talking about that home run at bat and what looked so good to him, being aggressive attacking that first pitch.
I mean, I was just trying to get something that I could drive, and I got what I was looking for, and I try not to miss it. So I just try to stay in the middle of the field, not try to do too much, and let it take care of itself. And it was really special. And
I like seeing him go out there and be that aggressive, because this is a guy that's not known for his home run power. But going back to spring training this year, he was one of my favorite at bats to watch. He led the team with, I believe, 16, 17 hits, hit a few bombs, showed off some of that power. And again, from going back and watching this guy a couple years ago down in San Jose, he has put on size, and he's obviously made an impression on the Giants front office for him to call him up. Now, the question is, how long is he going to stick around? We all know Brandon Crawford is still with the team. He's dealing with a calf injury right now. I could see him maybe being in a platoon system, but I could also see him stealing away some playing time from David VR, who's only hitting a 151 right now. Casey Schmidt is a guy that can play third. I know J.D. Davis has been playing pretty good this year, despite the fact that he had an error yesterday. He's been holding down the hot corner. Thairo Estrada is one of the best second basemen in baseball right now. Has one of the highest batting average in all of the MLB, which I know it's batting average in 2023, but it still matters to me. So when you're looking for a spot for Casey Schmidt to play, it's really going to depend on the health of Brandon Crawford. But I really don't want to get in a situation where we're calling this guy up, sending him down, calling him up, taking advantage of his options, trying to buy out an extra year on his contract. Just let the kid play. Because, again, these are the kids we're looking for. We're waiting for Kyle Harrison. We were waiting for Marco Luciano all these years, Elliot Ramos, Joey Bart, who had a base hit yesterday. These are the kind of guys you want to build your franchise around and get people excited to go watch at the ballpark. It's the reason why I went out on a Tuesday night, despite the fact I got to wake up at 2:45 every morning. It's because Logan Webb was pitching and Casey Schmidt was making his debut. Here was the skipper, Gabe Kapler, talking about what he'd like to see from Casey Schmidt yesterday, where that power came from, and if he's going to stick in the lineup for the long term.
I think he's going to hit for power. I think he's going to be like a line drive, gap-to-gap hitter with power. And so that it's not a surprise we saw enough of that in spring training to know it's in there. And he's a pretty strong individual. So I do think he's going to go line to line, like the foul ball that he just missed, the double on to right field. He very much is use the opposite field, but also get it in the air to the pull side like we saw tonight.
And what I loved was probably his third at bat, him going straight up the middle, getting another base knock. End of the day, 2 for 4, can hit for contact, can hit for power, and defensively, the kid is sick with the glove. I told you, minor league Gold Glove winner, a guy that can play all over the infield, and maybe, just maybe, we're seeing the end of David Villar's time in San Francisco. I don't know. I don't want to call the kid out, but he's got options also. I think when Brandon Crawford comes back, we might see him sent down. But regardless, let's all enjoy the Schmidt celebration right now. Him going deep, him kind of giving himself an applause when they put him on the big screen. He does seem like kind of a goofy kid. Shout out to the Giants PR team and FP Santangelo last night who got him down in the bunker. If you want to hear that podcast, you can check it out on KNBR.com. Talked about how he missed a call from the Giants because he was watching Guardians of the Galaxy. Kid seems like a character, seems like a good time, and he seems like a good ball player, and I hope to see him back in the lineup tonight. Again, today, I should say, 12:45 first pitch. I'll be down at the ballpark, and then I might have to indulge in a little Terry Francois two-step, go down to Chase Center for Warriors and Lakers, Game 5 tonight. Big day of sports here in the Bay Area, rubber match for the Giants, and an elimination game for the Warriors. We'll talk about it all with Murph and Mac on the other side. It's Marquise Boucher on a Wednesday morning on KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.